Once you have the information in using Nigiri, you can organize the shoot by using SASHIMI. In many senses, this is a traditional scheduler, but it has a couple added functions. It assigns to every header of scene a light. Green and blue are for night, yellow and white are for day. Besides organizing the script in this way, the program will also show you cases where scene 69 is in gray. That means that the program hasn't been able to recognize something about it. Since it's clear that it's an exterior, we look for the problem in the time of day and we find the word later. Later, although usable in a screenplay, doesn't help us here because it actually confuses things. Day or night you can use to determine the light, but later it's referring to something that the crew might not know because we might not be shooting in order. In order to do this correction, what we do is in the headers we click on light. And while being in the edit mode, we double click on the line of the neutral, and we are going to assign a sunset to this. A sunset. Now, how do we keep this from going away? For that, we have the states up here, and the states are memories of data that's already in the spreadsheet. So you may store up to 10 of these states, 0 to 9, and they will work for anything that you have made in this space. To organize your shoot, you have all this section here that will allow for sorting. You can sort by any category that you choose. You click on it and you sort. And now the database has been sorted in alphabetical order of the scene description, which, by the way, is usually the first line of a scene. But that's what the program uses. You have also the memories. In any of these memories, you load them by choosing one header and choosing the load button. So that is now scene description. So if I were to revert with this button to the original written order of the screenplay, I can use now an organization of the whole thing in terms of whether it's interior or exterior. But we could also add to that the day and night. And now we have separated the database in day and night. And within that, we have the types of light of that. So as you see, the combination are many. You could also revert to the first state and do a combined, which will be a different result, will be this after this after this. And you can have as many combinations as you wish, and you can order by any combination of headers that you care to. You can move a line, individual line, up or down. If we were to move this line so it is together with these other day lines, I would simply click on it, and this arrow means move one space, move 10. So it'll be basically one space, and now we have all those daylight scenes together. Once we are happy with this, we find an empty memory, and we simply store our organization there. And that's it, we have done it. Next time we load the database comes in completely fresh. All we do is from that memory recall, and now we have the database we've been working with. Once we're happy with all this, we can insert two types of markers. First type of markers is when you have to stop the production for some reason. That's called a timeout. Say in this particular plan, if we were to shoot the first scene and then we had to move to a different place to do these back alleys, we would ask for a timeout and we would select a company move. Say the company move takes 1 hour, and we would write down here the address of the place that we mean to go to. The program then inserts a fresh line saying that's a company move. It's not a scene. It can be erased, but it gives us information for this. Say here, after this 2 shots on the back alley, we have to do another company move. And at the end of scene 12, an end of day. Adding more days is just as easy as finding the place where you want that day's end to be and add it. We can still further add more days if we were to, and the program will simply keep track and number them in the proper way. Once we have our schedule finished with days and company moves and whatnot, we will to assign people to this work. The talent we already did with Nigiri, adding the database of characters and talent. Here we do it with crew. It lets you simply by adding the information of a member of the crew to count him, and from there on to keep tabs on the food and the allotments for all of these members. So if we had a script supervisor person whose name is Laura Brown, say, we simply click once on the calc arrow and a 23rd member has been added to the list and added. And when we look for our script supervisor, her name has been added in uppercase. We know that she's in the system. So we simply save and confirm to save, and we exit. That is already in the system. So if we are in a given day, we click on that header and make what's called a call sheet. And here's the call sheet. It includes all the information and the scenes. If we had, it would include the talent, and it includes the crew who are going to be present, and that we already know because we have always access to our database of crew. This is text, so we very easily we can open it in Notepad to make any change. Say the makeup person doesn't come in at 7, it has to come in at 5, and once we save it, it's ready to copy and send in email in a modern day version of a call sheet. If you go into shot mode, you can actually see the contents of the database. Normally you can see that for any scene by clicking text, which will show you the contents of the scene. But shot shows you that scene in terms of shots. So let's look at this scene 14 here, and we double click on it. We have the header of the scene in teal, and these are half headers, which are divisions of the scene, in most cases owed to being an action sequence that requires quickly changing points of view. In gray, we see the indicators to the talent. These other lines indicate the names of the characters that are going to speak. But the important thing here to notice is that the white lines are the ones that take time during the play, and thus the ones we will make specific shots for. And if in the case of working with animation, for instance, we simply touch a line, one of these which is dialogue. We click on assets, and what we have here is the motion capture for the bodies and the motion captures for the face. If we needed to add extra animation for the face in order to finish the shot, we would enter the information up here. However, both lines need the information in order for the process to occur. So we would simply add an equal in the first line, meaning leave this exactly as is. And in this other one, we'd start with a plus sign and then the name of the file that we need, which is face motion capture. And let's say this is number 23. When we write this in, the program respects our wishes, and now we have not touched the upper portion and added one piece of information to the lower portion. The idea is for this page to be a guide while you're shooting. In the case that you had them for this portion, clicking this button would invoke the storyboards panel for this scene. And that's the scheduler utility.